Mic check 1 2 1 2. Ha 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 ha. Red leather, red leather, red leather. It's time to start the show. Roll the camera in. Ha 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 ha. Welcome. Cut it. Cut the music. Cut the spooky music. What's up, guys? Welcome to the Dreaded Conservative Show. It's Monday night. Kicking the week off right. We got a chill show this week. I messed up my scheduling. I even put it in my phone, the dates of the shows. I was going to do birthday stream this week, spooky stories next week, and then explain why Halloween is a Christian holiday on the 30th. But yesterday, I forgot to look at the schedule, and I put all the spooky stories today. So today, we're doing a spooky birthday stream. Not a whole lot of news. You know, we'll do updates on what's going on in Israel, of course. Updates on Speaker of the House race. And then we got a shooting in Texas. We'll talk about how the suspect is a gun. The suspect has been identified, and it is a gun. It is gun violence. We'll talk about all that in the main story news. And then in the rapid fire, we got memes. We got reels. We got a little bit of stories. Not a whole lot of stories. What do we even have in rapid fire? We got some global news in rapid fire. And really, that's it. I think we'll watch the Ryan Long Palestine or Israel video. It's pretty funny. We'll watch that in rapid fire. And then in the last segment, we're going to talk about some spooky stories. Ooh, spooky stories. Oh, yes. Have you heard of the Hinterkaifeck murders? With pictures, scary story of is it a real-life haunted house? Who knows? The killer who stayed in the house after he murdered the family. Unsolved mystery to this day. Some people think it's ghosts, but people aren't sure. And then we have the real-life Annabelle story. A doll. I don't like puppets and dolls. They're creepy. And there's a real-life Annabelle doll from the movie Annabelle. It's based on a true story. And then last but not least, it's spooky stories. We'll talk about the staircases in the woods. Do you know about the staircases in the woods? The mysterious, dark, spooky staircases that lead to nowhere in the woods that some people believe will take you to hell or some other dimension, and the national park people aren't allowed to talk about it. We'll get into all that later in the show. But first, to kick it off, I got a little song for you guys. You ready for this?
This song is for you. Day to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. What an amazing age.
A wonderful age. And I got one more. That's not the only song. We got one more song. You ready for this? It's your birthday today. Yes. Blow out your candles. Josh. Okay, let's freaking go. Let's freaking go. That gets you pumped up like a mug. Hold on, I gotta share this out. Hold on, I gotta share the stream out. I forgot to do it earlier. I built a wall this morning. Oh, the wall going up. I built a wall. They need to hire me. Joe Biden needs to hire me. I also got to tell everybody on my Facebook profile that said happy birthday, I got to tell them thank you. I got to tell them thank you. Thank you. Maybe we'll do that a little later in the show. I'm not going to show you all that, but I got to tell them thank you. 13 friends posted on my timeline for my birthday. That's right. That's right. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But now we got a show to do. Let me put it in the Discord and we'll get into the news. I want it to be a chill stream today because I didn't really put in a whole lot of work yesterday for it. So, but I do have some stories. We got some interesting stories. By the way, I got to sing my own birthday song to myself. You guys ready for this? This is your birthday song. It isn't very long. That's the best birthday song right there. By the way, if you guys didn't notice yet, if you haven't seen in the stream yet, we have decorative artistic bottles for sale. They're not even for sale. In fact, these are not, this is just a bottle. It's just for decoration. You put it in your house. It's just an artistic red bottle. Not for human consumption. But if it were, it would be serrano and pineapple, habanero and mango, and ghost pepper habanero, the hot stuff. The hot stuff. But this is just for artistic purposes, and it's not even for sale. They're actually, I just give them away as gifts for artistic decorations in your house. And but if you send me a $20 donation to the channel for the content, then I'll send you a free gift of a decorative bottle that you can put on your shelf, not for human consumption. How do you like that, FDA? How about FDA these nuts? Sorry, kids. If the kids are listening, sorry, kids. Pretend I didn't say that. Y'all see I got shaved up? We starting a job. Well, not tomorrow. Kind of tomorrow. 4 a.m. on Wednesday. So basically tomorrow. Going to UPS for the orientation. I've been psyching myself out. I've been watching a bunch of videos on YouTube. The job seems very simple. Everybody's like, a lot of black people work at UPS. According to TikTok, which I don't watch the TikToks, but Google sends me all the TikTok videos. When I type in Google package handler experience, it comes up with a bunch of TikTok videos. But I can't watch them because I didn't download TikTok on my phone. But I watch the YouTube videos, and they're all black. A lot of black people working at UPS. A lot of women, a lot of black girls. So if they can do the job, I'm not stressed. Everybody's like, oh, your body's going to be hurting. I'm a beast, bro. You think I can't pick up some little boxes and put them on a truck all day for 4 hours? That's not even a real shift. What is 4 hours? They said some days you'll work 2 hours. Some days on a long day, you'll work 6 hours. That's not even a shift. I'll work a 12-hour day moving boxes all day. I ain't scared. I'm more worried about the bike ride there and home until I get an electric bike. Yes, not for human consumption. But I start at 4 a.m. Wednesday. So tonight I'm going to stay up real late. And then I'm going to try to sleep. But I got other work to do tomorrow too. I got to finish the wall that I'm building. I'm building a wall. The wall going up. So I got to finish the wall. I built it today. Tomorrow I got to drywall and texture it, which will probably take, 4 hours to do all the drywalling and texturing I got to do tomorrow. And then maybe I'll stream and just kill some time until 2 a.m. And I'm going to leave here. Well, it's an hour-long bike ride. And I'm supposed to start at 4:30, or orientation's at 4:30. They said get there 15 minutes early. I'm going to get there 30 minutes early because that's what white people do. That's what we do. We show up early. If you ain't early, you ain't on time. I'm going to show up at 4 a.m. because it's one of the biggest facilities in the country. It's like 64 acres, and I have no idea where I'm supposed to go. So I'm going to get there 30 minutes early just to figure out where I'm going to go, where I'm going to lock my bike up. I'm taking a backpack with me that's going to have a bike pump and tubes for my tires and tire slime and a pump. I think I said that already. But hopefully they don't get mad at me for showing up with a backpack. I guess for orientation, I can wear a backpack and watch the videos and stuff. And then I saw videos. Some people just wear their backpack while they work. But then I saw some videos where they have lockers. So I don't know. I'm going to have to figure all that out tomorrow. Worst case scenario, I can't bring the backpack, and I'll have to get like a like a saddlebag for my bike because I want to have tubes and a pump with me in case I get a goat head while I'm riding there, so I can change it real quick and pump it. But I start at 4:30 a.m. I'm gonna get there at 4, and I gotta leave here. I'll probably leave here at like 2:30, which means I'll actually get there at like 3:30. But just to be safe, I want to make sure that I'm on time for that orientation. And then they said the biggest problem is that supervisors are buttholes. So, you know, I'm a I'm just gonna be a good person. I'm just gonna be a good Christian man, and I'm gonna show respect to my they're not even elders. They said a lot of the supervisors are like young kids and stuff. I'm probably gonna be older than all the supervisors. So they won't be my elders. But I'm just gonna show respect and be like, hey, by the way, is this just a seasonal thing? Because I need a real job. I need to be in the union. I need to get unionized after the holiday season is over. What do I got to do? Do I got to pick up some extra shifts? Let me get that 10 to 2 a.m. shift, and then I'll just hang out for 2 hours, and then I'll work the 4 to 8 shift. How about that? We'll just work all night. Ain't no such thing as sleep. Get that overtime, baby. Get that $31 an hour. How about that? That's the plan. That's the plan. I'm going to be such a badass box mover that they're not going to be able to let me go after the holiday seasons. That's the plan. Worst case scenario, they let me go after the holidays are over, and then I got to get an Amazon job, which Amazon job, as long as you can pass a drug test, you get the job like that. The problem with the Amazon job is it's not union, I don't think, and they do like 10-hour shifts, and you can't have any headphones in. I'm going to go crazy. I'll go crazy not being able to listen to anything for 10 hours. And I bet you they're playing like Mariah Carey over the PA system. It's going to be a mess. It's going to be a mess. But that's the plan. That's the plan. It's going to be weird for a little while cuz I usually go to bed between 2 and 4. I'm a late night person, you know? I usually fall asleep between 2 and 4, and then I sleep from that time till like 9 or 10 or 11, depending on if I have to work that day or what time I have to work, whatever. So the time when I usually sleep is now going to be working time, and I'm going to have to sleep either in the daytime or go to bed at like 8 o'clock at night and wake up at 1. I don't know. No, not Mariah Carey. Yeah, that's probably what they play at Amazon over the speakers. But hopefully, I can just get the job permanent and become on the union after the holidays are over. We'll see. I'm going to find out at orientation. I need to stop psyching myself out and watching these YouTube videos of these betas who are like, it was so hard. I quit after 3 days. They were so mean to me. They were mean and it hurt my body to work. I had to work for 3.5 hours and they didn't let me have a water break or a bathroom break. 3.5 hours? I take longer pisses than 3.5 hours. I sit down and take a 3.5 hour pee. Okay, that's inappropriate. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. I don't always do that. Only sometimes. All right, let's get into the news. What do we got? We got news time. You guys ready for the news? Let's do our Israel updates. Let's get Israel out of the way. We got Israel and Guatemala updates since we talked about Israel and Guatemala last week. Reuters, I think I've reached my limit on free Reuters articles because they're telling me I need to register. I ain't doing it. I'm not doing it. So we just have headline from Reuters. Biden says Hamas must be eliminated. U.S. officials warn of escalation. U.S. President Joe Biden said on Sunday he believes the Hamas militant group must be eliminated, but there should be a path to a Palestinian state after top U.S. officials warned the war between Israel and Hamas could escalate. That's all they're letting me read. So let's just skip that. Let's go. Let's talk about the global day of jihad that happened earlier this week. They declared Friday the 13th. It was Friday the 13th. Dun, dun, dun. Halloween music. Friday the 13th, Global Day of Jihad. Friday the 13th was a global day of jihad. So, what happened? Not a whole lot. Protests, that's about it. A couple stabbings. We'll talk about those stabbings. One in France. One was a stabbing of a Muslim in France stabbed a teacher, and France is not happy about it. We'll talk about that. And then I guess in America, I think, we'll get to the stories here in a second. Some old white guy stabbed a Muslim mom and her kid, and I think the kid died. So lots of stabbings going on. But let's first read about this global day of jihad from Economic Times. Let's go to the article. A call for global day of jihad. Allahu Akbar. On October 13, 2023, by former Hamas leader Khaled Mashal has raised concerns and prompted heightened security measures across the United States. In response to this announcement, the U.S. government is taking significant steps to ensure the safety and security of its citizens. Khaled Mashal's call for Day of Jihad. Khaled Mashal, the former political bureau chairman of Hamas, has recently called upon Muslims worldwide to express their support for Palestine on October 13th, declaring it the Day of Jihad. In his message, he urged Muslims to demonstrate their solidarity with Palestine, Jerusalem, and Al-Aqsa. This proclamation arrives against the backdrop of the enduring Israel-Hamas conflict, which has profound global repercussions. In a formal statement, Mashal proclaimed, "We declare this Friday, the Friday of the Al-Aqsa flood, as a day of general mobilization in our Arab and Islamic world, and among the free people of the world. It is a day to rally support, offer aid, and participate actively. It is a day to demonstrate our love for Palestine, Jerusalem, and Al-Aqsa." He also appealed for donations. Guys, speaking of appealing for donations, it's my birthday. Hit the Cashapp. I need donations too. I'm fighting a war. We're fighting a war over here. He also appealed for donations to assist Gaza, which is currently experiencing an Israeli military incursion. Mashal expressed his belief that international involvement would shift the dynamics of the conflict, emphasizing, when the world, America, the West, and the Zionists see that the nation has come to support of Al-Aqsa Mosque and that convoys of Mujahideen are on their way to shed their pure blood on the land of Palestine, the battlefield will change, the balance of power will change. United States measures in response. So United States responding. All the countries were freaking out. You know, people like Tim Pool are saying he's going to lock down in his bunker and play Baldur's Gate all day. Well, you know what I think of that? I think this.
Beta!
That's about right. That's about right, Tim. The United States is taking preemptive actions to address the potential tensions and confrontations on October 13th. Elected officials and law enforcement agencies are actively monitoring the situation to maintain public safety and security. In Florida, Congressman Matt Gaetz made a public declaration that Americans would be armed and resolute, refusing to be intimidated. New York City law enforcement agencies, including the police, have heightened their readiness for any potential events on October 13th. All sworn police officers are scheduled to be on duty and prepared to respond to any situation. Their focus will include monitoring public and private religious schools and houses of worship in Jewish neighborhoods. Furthermore, New York City Governor Kathy Hochul has committed to maintaining constant communication with the White House and the Department of Homeland Security on October 13th. She has activated various security units, including U.S. Homeland Security, the Counterterrorism Unit, the State Police, and the Hate Crimes Task Force. Didn't do that during the BLM riots, but you'll do it now. The National Guard is also on standby if necessary, or because of the immigrants coming in, flooding in. We won't mobilize all those things for that, but we'll mobilize it because Hamas is attacking Israel, and they say there's going to be a global day of jihad. Allahu Akbar. The FBI has been actively tracking developments related to the Day of Jihad to thwart any potential threats or disruptions. The Los Angeles Police Department is also intensifying its efforts to identify and assess potential threats, especially in communities associated with Muslims and Jews. Police officers across the country have been encouraging family members to stay indoors on October 13th to ensure their safety. I didn't do that. I went and mowed some lawns. That's what I did on that day. And I didn't see any. I didn't see any explosions. So it was all right. New York City security measures, national response to ensuring security. I think I have another article of all the different cities' reactions here from New York Post. Surprisingly, New York Post is letting me read the article. Let's watch their video because I did not make any clips for this show. The red of our flag stands for the blood of our enemies. The black of our flag stands for the death to the white below our flag, which is Israel. The green of our flag is the lush green lands that used to be in the desert before we shed the blood of our enemies and killed all the everything because we don't know how to farm. I just made that up. Oh, we got an ad. I don't want to watch the ad. Let's read this article. This is Day of Jihad. Protests draws tens of thousands around the world as demonstrators clash with cops, burn U.S. and Israel flags from all the different countries. So we'll just read through some of these countries, see what happened across the world. Australia was the site of a number of vigils and gatherings in support of Israel on Friday, but thousands of demonstrators also took the streets in Brisbane, Canberra, and Perth to voice their opposition to the war. Demonstrators waved Palestinian flags, shouted slogans like Allahu Akbar, and brandished signs bearing anti-Israel messages. In Bangladesh, angry demonstrators torched American and Israeli flags in the capital city of Dhaka. As a large street protest unfolded, many people in the assembled crowd displayed flags and held up anti-war placards, including an image of President Biden defaced with a Hitler mustache. Damn! In one photo, demonstrators were seen setting fire to an effigy of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. In France, we got news from France coming up. French Interior Minister Gérald Darmanin had banned pro-Palestinian demonstrations in the country on Thursday on the grounds they were likely to generate public order disturbances. But hundreds of protesters ignored the ban on Friday, risking arrest to gather in central Paris for a mass rally. French police used water and tear gas to disperse the unruly crowds who ignited flares and vandalized monuments at Place de République. In the days since Hamas' surprise missile attack against Israel, French police have arrested more than 20 people in dozens of anti-Semitic acts, including harassment of Jewish school children, the government said this week, and a stabbing. Here's it's touching on the stabbing. We'll talk more about this here in a minute. France was the site of one of the worst acts of violence believed to be connected to the Day of Jihad so far. A knife-wielding Chechen refugee who was on a terrorist watch list. Maybe you don't have your borders wide open. You won't have to worry so much about that. Who was on a terrorist watch list in France, fatally stabbed a 57-year-old teacher at his former high school and critically wounded two others in northern France on Friday after allegedly yelling, Allahu Akbar. Here's some pictures. A little picture action. Guy got his head bust. Get your head bust. A demonstrator with his face streaked with blood is arrested after battling officers at a protest in Germany. Was machst du in deiner Freizeit? Demonstrators in Berlin clashed with riot police during Friday's anti-Israeli protest. What happened in India? Oh, they protested in India too. We got protests in India, Indonesia. Indian security forces detained numerous pro-Palestinian demonstrators at the Jantar Mantar protest site in New Delhi, including a group of student organizers. Large groups of Kashmiri Muslims were seen holding up signs and banners while chanting anti-Israeli slogans. In one photo, a woman was seen being dragged away by security forces who held her arms as she continued shouting. Seems like it's not just Hamas. Seems like a lot of these Palestinian people really are kind of violent, angry people, and it's not just Hamas. Like, isn't there Hamas, ISIS? I think they say it's a small percentage of Muslims who support this sort of violence, but the small percentage of Muslims is still like 100 million people. I'm not good with numbers, but, you know, it's a lot. There's a lot of Muslims who are okay with killing the infidel. And then there's a lot of peaceful ones who say, well, that's not what the Quran says. But that's what our prophet did later in his life. So what are we going off of here? Are we following Muhammad's life, or are we following what he wrote in the Quran? Are we following the first half of the Quran, which is peaceful, or are we following the latter part of the Quran, which is very warlike and angry? What are we doing here? It seems kind of contradictory. Maybe you're following a false prophet, a wolf in sheep's clothing. Maybe Muhammad was a degenerate. Maybe you should leave the goats alone. In Indonesia, home to the world's largest Muslim population at 231 million adherents, hundreds gathered at protest sites around the country to protest Israel at a demonstration following prayers on Friday in Yogyakarta. Multiple Indonesian school children were seen holding up toy machine guns and waving Palestinian flags, their young faces smeared with war paint. Wow. Iran, we got protests. In Iran, one of Israel's biggest region rivals, also where the most transformer surgeries happen. This is being recorded for YouTube, so I got to be careful. Which is believed to have played a role in Hamas executing the surprise attack last weekend, burned Israeli and American flags in the capital city of Tehran. Protesters on the ground could be heard chanting slogans like "Death to Israel, Death to America," and "Palestine will be the conqueror." Oh, so they're not saying Hamas will be the conqueror. They're saying Palestine will be the conqueror. Interesting. Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi, a hardliner who cast doubt on the existence of the Holocaust in an eyebrow-raising 60-minute interview last year, warned in a speech that the people of the world in Palestine will cause trouble for you. Damn, look at them in Iraq. They mobilized over in Iraq. Burning flags. Geared up for war. We got Japan, Jordan, Lebanon, Malaysia, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Yemen. Pictures from Yemen. So protests and stuff all over the world. Not a whole lot of violence. They weren't like bombing buildings and stuff like everybody thought. But there was a stabbing in France. There was a little bit of violence and just angry protests everywhere. Not peaceful protests. Mostly peaceful protests. Or not peaceful protests. From Wired, rumor of a day of global jihad have unleashed a dangerous wave of disinformation. So here comes Wired saying the evil alt-right. I don't know if this article is like in support of Palestine or what, but Wired, which is supposed to be a tech magazine, spreading propaganda. Rumors of a global day of jihad have unleashed a dangerous wave of disinformation. Disinformation is one of them liberal words. Misinformation, disinformation, and harmful information. It's one of those liberal words they use to discredit truth tellers. The rapid spread of violent videos and photos combined with a toxic stew of mis and disinformation now threatens to spill over into real-world violence. Far-right figures in the United States are making violent threats against Muslims in response to what they believe is a planned global day of jihad. Well, it was a planned global day of jihad. That's what they called it today. The violent rhetoric comes in response to comments made in a statement by Khalid Mashal. They spell it different than Economic Times in the last article spelled it. The founder and former leader of Hamas to Reuters on Wednesday. Mashal called for protests on October 13th across the Arab world, blah, blah, blah. We already know about that. In the toxic stew of misinformation and disinformation that has circulated online in the days since Hamas' attack on Israel, those misinterpreted comments have been weaponized by right-wing... Hold on, my mom's calling me in the middle of the show. Thanks, Mom. Okay. Toxic stew of misinformation and disinformation that has circulated in the day since Hamas' attack on Israel. Those misinterpreted comments, I already read all this. The latest round of online disinformation now threatens to spill over into real-world violence. Here we go. Users of pro-Trump message boards and extremist channels on Telegram, as well as mainstream platforms like X, formerly Twitter, why are we calling it X, formerly known as Twitter? Is it Prince? Is it dang Prince? The artist formerly known as Twitter? Repeatedly claimed that they would be carrying firearms today. Well, they should be carrying firearms every day. What's wrong with that? Some claim they would be prepared to use those weapons if or when they encountered Muslims. Damn. In many cases, people refer to Muslims as racial slurs. Well, I always use racial slurs. What's wrong with that? Josh loves his mom. What a nerd. Yeah. Yeah, I guess. I guess. In response, some police authorities in U.S. cities, including New York and Los Angeles, have announced that they plan to boost officer numbers to counter any potential violence. Some schools in the U.S. and the U.K. have closed due to concerns about an international day of rage or out of an abundance of caution. So they're saying that they're closing the schools not because the Muslims are calling for a global day of jihad, but because the violent alt-right, far-right, right-wingers are threatening to carry their guns and handle business if something goes down. Those are the guys that are going to save you when somebody walks into your school with a bomb strapped to their vest, bro. The situation was made worse today by two separate incidents of violence in China and France. In Beijing, the Israeli embassy confirmed that a diplomat was stabbed in broad daylight. I didn't hear about this story. Outside in China? Don't trust China. China's asshole. Mama Dreaded Conservative did a good job. Josh is pretty cool. In France, a teacher was stabbed. Yeah. We got video purporting to show both attacks, which Ryer has not been able to independently verify, are circulating online and being shared by right-wing figures as proof that the global day of jihad is real. I didn't know there was video. So, just interesting. Wire, blaming the alt-right Trump supporters. It's our fault that they declared a global day of jihad. Let me see if I can find this video real quick. Video of Beijing and France stabbings. Bro, the feds are going to be coming after me for my Google searches. Shocking video appears to show Israeli embassy staffer being stabbed. Warning attackers. Watch attacker stabs children playing in France. Suspect detained. On YouTube? They got this on YouTube? What the? Okay. I guess we're going to play this. Warning, graphic content. We'll have to edit this out of the YouTube video, even though the France one is on YouTube. Let's see here. What do we got here? Warning, graphic content. Hey, oh, they showed that. Oh, they showed that. Oh, they showed it. Meanwhile, apparently we got the video from France as well. From France. Arapis, France. France knife attack live. That's an 11-hour video. What the heck? I ain't trying to watch no 11-hour video. Suspect detained after 4 toddlers stabbed in France. I thought it was like but this
if you want to learn how to edit.
This one's on YouTube. France will mobilize up to, this is crazy, 7,000 soldiers to increase security around the country after a teacher was fatally stabbed and 3 other people wounded in a school attack by a former student suspected of Islamic radicalization. The president's office said Saturday. Now that Chinese stabbing, it was what? It was a, hold on, because I didn't even know about that story till just now. I just found that. Beijing stabbing. Man held after employee at Israel's embassy in China. An employee at the Israeli embassy in China has been stabbed. So, a 50-year-old Israeli man who works at the Israeli embassy in Beijing was stabbed. So, it seems like these are Muslims attacking Israeli people all over the world. But that Wired article made it seem like they were closing schools because of far-right Trump supporter violence. Threatenings of a day of violence from far-right Trump supporters. And they completely glaze over the global day of jihad where Israelis are getting stabbed all over the world. And in America, people would have shot, but you didn't see anybody get shot in America. You know why? Because they got guns too. Both sides got guns. I didn't see no Muslims shooting nobody in America. I see Muslims stabbing people in France and China where they don't got guns. Huh. That's interesting. Some school children and parents and personnel returned to the Gambetta Carno school in the northern city of Arras as it reopened Saturday morning to reconnect and seek support after the attack. 7,000 soldiers mobilized around the country to stop the violence. And so multiple stabbings in France. And it wasn't crazy right-wingers stabbing Muslims. It was the other way around. Crazy the way the media will twist things. Counterterrorism authorities are investigating the stabbing and the suspected assailant and several others in custody. Prosecutors said the suspect had been under recent surveillance by intelligence services for radicalization. Shocker. Big surprise there. Court documents viewed by the Associated Press show he is from the Ingushetia region in Russia's Caucasus Mountains, which neighbors Chechnya. Authorities had additionally identified him as Chechnyan. Oh, right. They didn't want you to think he was Chechnyan. They wanted you to think he's from the Caucasus Mountains from Russia. So what do you think they did that for? They made that correction. They made sure to get that correction. The French government heightened the national threat alert, and President Emmanuel Macron ordered up to 7,000 soldiers deployed by Monday night. And until further notice, to bolster security and vigilance around France, his officials said the attack emergency threat posture allows the government to temporarily mobilize the military to protect public places, among other measures. So, looks like I got a video. I don't know what it's going to show because this is on YouTube. So, let's see what they got here. Kitchen knives are the most common type used in fatal stabbings. Thinner blade makes it easier to get deep punctures. Why do you know that, bro? Why do you know that? Something wrong with that boy. Stubborn one gonna be knifing people up. No, stubborn one doesn't need to use a knife. He's got a dang katana sword.
A man armed with a knife entered this playground.
Yeah, that looks like a far-right Trump supporter. Not. Looks like an Allahu Akbar guy.
Disclaimer alert, the details get gory from here. He began to stab a group of children.
Why? Listen, this is where I got to question things and speculate. Okay? You're planning to do a stabbing, right? The crazy thing about knives is they can be concealed very easily. And you could walk through a crowded place and just be stabbing people up and nobody would know. Why would you be walking through the park when you're already being investigated by the intelligence agencies as being a radicalized Muslim and they know there's a global day of jihad happening? Why are you walking through the park with the knife like this, spinning around, voguing, spinning around with the knife in your hand? You might as well just start dancing with the knife in the air, saying, I'm going to stab everyone. Like, come on. Something smells fishy about this one. And I'm not saying it's fake, okay? I'm not saying that kids weren't hurt, because that's horrible. I'm just saying something smells fishy. That's all I'm saying.
I would like to reiterate how terrified we are as people of Annecy, as French people, at this
Regardless,
appalling attack.
something evil happened. That's for sure. And so France has evacuated the Louvre. France evacuating the Louvre. I was like, if you're Lupin, I'd say you Lupin, you could rob that Mona Lisa right now because they're evacuating the Louvre. That'd be perfect setup to get that Lisa, get that Mona. Thank you for not showing the kids. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to see that either. But crazy. The world's going crazy. Y'all are supposed to be evacuating. I thought this was a video of them evacuating the Louvre, not a video of a bunch of zombies taking pictures of the Mona Lisa. Lupin about to steal that thing. The Louvre Museum in Versailles, Paris, evacuated visitors and staff Saturday after receiving bomb threats. The government has put France on high security after a fatal stabbing by a suspected extremist. The Louvre communication service said no one has been hurt and no incident has been reported. Paris police said officers searched the museum after it received written bomb threats. The former royal palace in Versailles also received bomb threats. I don't know why they spell like that. Like, you going to put 2 L's after that? Looks like sail, but it's Versailles. A national police spokesperson said the palace and its sprawling gardens were being evacuated while police examined the area. The spokesperson said alarms rang throughout the Louvre, a vast space, and also there's an R in Louvre. A vast space also in a former royal palace, Paris, overlooking the Seine River, when the evacuation was announced in an underground shopping center beneath its signature pyramid. So, crazy stuff going on in France due to this. Another headline from Reuters: Israel vows to demolish Hamas. Biden vows to demolish Hamas. They've been bombing the hell out of Gaza. They've been leveling Gaza. I believe the death toll from Israel to Hamas bombing the Gaza Strip is way surpassed what they did on October 7th. I'm not saying that makes Israel like the bad guy or worse than Hamas. Like, if it, assuming everything we're told is true, then they have every right to bomb the hell out of them. Drop a nuke. Drop a fake nuke on them. Actually, don't, because I would rather get hit with a nuke than firebombed. According to history of Japan, the getting firebombed is way worse than the nukes. So firebomb the hell out of them. That's what I say. But they're being nice. If everything we're being told is true, apparently they're doing something called knocker bombs, or like knock bombs or something like that, where if they target a building, they call the building first. They say, hey, we're going to bomb you. And then the Hamas people are like, so what? We have kids here. That's going to look good. That's going to look bad on you guys. We're not even going to tell the people. We're going to leave the people here. And then what they do is they do knocker bombs, which is like a bomb that goes off above the building to shake it. And it doesn't hurt anybody. It just shakes the whole building. And then they'll do that as a warning to say, basically, hey, we're about to bomb this building. Get out of there. Any civilians, get out of there. And they're like, allegedly, Hamas and them are not letting the people out, so that when they bomb the building and people die, it looks worse on Israel. This is just things that I heard from Ben Shapiro. So, of course, But Israel vows to demolish Hamas. Let's just check CNN live updates for any new information. Let's skim through this real quick, and then we'll move on. 21 hours ago, Israel has no interest to occupy Gaza, UN envoy says. 21 hours ago, there aren't enough shelters for those fleeing to southern Gaza, UN officials say. We got a map. I'm the 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 map. 500,000 people have fled to southern Gaza, IDF says. About 500,000 people have left northern Gaza for the south following Israel's evacuation notice on Friday. An Israel Defense Forces spokesperson said Sunday the estimate represents roughly half the population of northern Gaza, where the IDF is gearing up for the next stages of its war with Hamas, which runs this territory. The evacuation advisory came after Israel imposed a complete siege on Gaza. Saturday, it would allow safe movement, specified streets, residents from blah, 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 blah. Let's look at this map. So dark is more populated, population per 100 square meters. So Gaza City, very populated. This whole area was told to evacuate. This is all Israel. This is the other part of the Gaza Strip, South Gaza Strip. So the north part of the Gaza Strip is supposed to evacuate to the south, but there's not enough land. There's not enough basically housing there for the people who are fleeing Gaza City. 1.1 million people to leave densely populated northern Gaza, including Gaza City, and relocate to the South Strip. The United Nations said the instruction will cause devastating humanitarian consequences. Okay. And then again, 21 hours ago, maybe it's because when I save these articles, it doesn't update anymore. The same thing happened last week, where the most recent news I have is 21 hours ago. And I put the show together about 21 hours ago. So maybe that's what's happening. Ben Shapiro still owes JLP a lunch. I know. He owes him a dang pressed Cuban. He owes him a sandwich or something. Can't trust a guy that doesn't pay his debts. That's all I'm saying. Rafah crossing may open a short notice and for a limited time, U.S. Embassy says. Let me see if I pull up CNN CNN live updates Israel. Israel Hamas war crisis deepens in Gaza. Okay, yeah, this is more news. Yeah. So it stops renewing when I save the site, because we got stuff coming out every couple minutes. Yeah, we got 40 minutes ago. Lots of ads. New Jersey man traveled to Israel after his father went missing near Gaza. 31 humanitarian staff killed in hospitals on the brink of collapse in Gaza, UN officials say. Palestinian American family of 6 hunkered down in Gaza City. So see, like, now it seems to kind of be turning. So first it was everybody be sad because Israel got attacked. And now it's everybody's be sad because Palestine's being attacked. President Biden to visit Israel. U.S. Secretary of State Blinken says, hey, Blinken, Israel won't stop until it destroys the military and governmental capabilities of Hamas, Netanyahu says 32 minutes ago. 27 minutes ago, U.S. and Israel agreed to develop humanitarian aid plan for civilians in Gaza, Blinken says. And then this girl again. I talked about this girl a couple during one of the gaming streams. She fine. Mother of woman being held hostage. We are begging the world to bring my baby home. Also, update on that German girl that I showed the video of last week. Like, I showed the video. She looked pretty dead. And all the reports were that they killed her and dragged her through the streets and were spitting on her. Well, a couple days later, the mom is on TV saying she's still alive. We need to act quickly to save her. And then this is a different girl. Mia Shem. This is a French-Israeli woman, but I'm talking about the German girl with the dreadlocks. That mom said that she was still alive. So I don't know what to believe. I'm just reporting on what they're reporting on, giving my commentary and my thoughts, but I'm skeptical of everything. So I don't want your links in my chat, bruh. Get out of here, bot. Get out of here, bot. But that's it for Israel. Let's do some quick updates on what's been happening with Guatemala. Just because we did a segment on it last week, and Floor sent me some other videos, and I just thought this was kind of crazy. So here's some of the protests going on. This is 3 minutes. We won't watch all of it. But this very bad camera footage, but this is some footage from the protests. If you don't remember last week when I interviewed Floor, I was talking about how I thought they were going to attack the Capitol and there were going to be imported protesters. All of that stuff was happening as I was saying it. So I'm basically a psychic. You should, I'm rarely wrong. And it's not even being psychic. It's just paying attention to the world and seeing how these things go. It's not that hard to predict. Now, call us conspiracy theorists because we're observant and we see what's happening and we read the news and we pay attention to the things that come out in the news, and then they quickly retract it and hide it from us. And when we talk about it, they'll call us crazy conspiracy theorists because we're paying attention. How's the beautiful babies? Punta.
En este momento, Fernando.
Oh, they shooting.
Aquí ven. No nos mira porque vamos a venir a sacar. Son los del ding, hombre. Son los del ding, hombre.
They ain't playing over there.
No, para tu luz, ahí vienen a calmar la voz. Háganse para atrás, háganse para atrás.
They are not playing over there. So there's some of the crazy stuff going on the ground there. Meanwhile, the president of Guatemala, the one that has been voted out, and they're doing all this corruption to keep him in there. The homosexual gentleman. Here's some videos of what happened when his boyfriend's mom went to the Capitol. So this old lady here is the current. So they voted in a new anti-corruption guy. And the current guy, who is very corrupt, and he's a homosexual, he doesn't want to leave. He's saying he's going to leave peacefully, but he's not leaving. And they're messing with the ballots and messing with the elections to keep him in there. This is his boyfriend's mom. And his boyfriend, according to Floor, is like 30 years younger than him. And he's buying $1 million mansions on the beach and stuff. This is the boyfriend's mom of the president. Look, they're attacking this guy. So I think this kid is like his brother or something. I can't remember what she told me. Throwing rocks at him. Watch this big rock they throw out the window right now. Boom! Damn. All right, so he's out of there. So that's what's going on in the world. And we got more global craziness going on in the world here in a little while. Let's move on from that. Do some updates on the Speaker of the House situation. From Politico, will Jim Jordan bully his way to the speakership? I hope so. He's 150-1 in wrestling. I hope he bullies his way in there. To win the speaker's gavel, the Ohio Republican might have to embrace tough tactics he built his reputation on. Let's go. Let's go, Jim. Let's go, Jim. It's about to get real based up in here. Back in 2016, Representative Jim Jordan was on a crusade. He wanted the House to launch impeachment proceedings against IRS Commissioner John Koskinen over allegations that the agency had targeted conservatives. Remember that? The IRS, when IRS was in Congress? But Jordan, Republican of Ohio, had a problem. GOP party leaders saw impeachment as a political loser and refused to even haul Koskinen in for questioning. Jordan wasn't about to back down, however. He cornered then House Judiciary Committee Chair Bob Goodlatte on the House floor and presented him with a choice. Either you summon Koskinen to the Hill or the Freedom Caucus forces a vote on his impeachment a few weeks before Election Day. Jordan got his hearing. That is one of many instances where Ohio Republicans used hardline tactics, or what some of his colleagues would call bullying. Gay. What? If you're a Republican and you're using the word bullying,
Beta.
That's beta. That's beta than a mug. To get his way, he was so good at it, in fact, that Politico dubbed him the other Speaker of the House at the time. Jim Jordan, once again, wants something that a whole lot of his colleagues don't want to give him. As he makes a final push for the speakership, he faces his own choices. Does he stick with his recent transformation into a team player, or does he revert back to the tough tactics he built his reputation on? McCarthy backs Jordan in speaker race? If there's no ad here, one thing is clear. He has work to do. While Jordan won the GOP nomination for speaker yesterday, the vote was far from the display of unity that he and his allies had predicted. An eye-opening 81 Republicans rejected Jordan in favor of a low-key backbencher, Representative Austin Scott of Georgia, who decided to run just hours before the vote. We were shocked by the number of people who did not vote for him, Representative Daniel Webster told Bloomberg. There was nowhere else to go, and they still didn't want him to go there. Here's McCarthy backing Jim
Get
Jordan.
217 votes. Then what? Do you think it's time to polls?
You guys are all the hypotheticals.
This has happened multiple times.
I know. You know, I've stayed out of these conferences, but I can't. I
He's
come back
backing
in.
Jim Jordan. We got one more article from The Guardian. Basically, same thing. Jim Jordan races to try to change minds of holdouts and bid for House Speaker. From The Guardian, I will read some of this, and then we'll move on off this story. Basically, it's just updates this week. Updates on this stuff. The right-wing congressman Jim Jordan is seeking to shore up support for his bid to succeed Kevin McCarthy as House Speaker, with plans to appear on the House floor early this week to try to sway Republican members of Congress who signaled in a secret ballot vote that they will not support his bid. Jordan, a staunch ally of Donald Trump, let's freaking go. The nukes are coming. A staunch ally of Donald Trump claimed in a brief interview with Politico that he believes he will get the 217 votes required to secure speakership in a vote now set to happen on Tuesday at noon. Nice. Huh. I wonder if it's going to be broadcast, because if I get home from UPS at 10 a.m., or no, that's tomorrow at noon. Yeah, I'm going to be working. We think we're going to get 217, Jordan said. Former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy has expressed support. Congressman Steve Scalise of Louisiana was slated to secure the Republican nomination for the speaker role before Scalise withdrew from the race after he failed to secure enough support to win a vote. With Republicans holding a slim majority of 3 seats in the House, any group of Republican holdouts could cause any nominee to fail to secure the speakership. Several Republicans have publicly said they remain no votes on Jordan's speakership. Mike Roberts of Alabama and John Rutherford and Carlos Jimenez of Florida are in this group. Lame.
Beta.
Betas. Oh, they some betas. So, I'm not going to read all this. We'll keep you updated. Hopefully he gets in there. That man's a boss. That man's a boss. Let's wrap up, with some new news. I know everything we've talked about has just been updates this week. Nothing real. I mean, for a while, guys, it's going to be Israel. It's going to be Israel. In the main segment of the news, I'm going to try to find new stories to talk about, but that's going to be what the news is. And the world's a crazy place. I just report on it. If that's all they're talking about, that's what we're going to talk about. But we had a Texas State Fair shooting. Suspect was caught. His name is Cameron Turner. And as usual, we have no description of the suspect. Now, that stabbing, what happened to that article? Oh, I think it's in Rapid Fire News. I should have done that during the Israel stuff. Actually, let me pull that up now because it's actually kind of relevant to this story. Just a little interesting compare and contrast situation we got. Okay. Let me bring this story up to here. Oh, crap. Now it's going to disappear. Oh, cool. That worked. All right. So, relevant to Israel, and I'm going to tie it in with this story. I'm going to show you a compare and contrast here. So, let's go to this article. Slaying of 6-year-old Muslim in Illinois connected to Israel-Hamas war. So, this old white guy, killed a 6-year-old Muslim in Illinois. And you get a huge picture of his face on the front page of the Politico article, right? The boy and his mother were injured, targeted due to their religion. Now, I showed you a bunch of Muslims attacking Israeli people earlier. Here's an example of what they call the Trump-supporting far-right anti-Muslim violence in America. This looked like an old crazy homeless guy apparently stabbed a Muslim boy and his mom. The young boy died, 6-year-old boy. And this is our example of Muslim hate in America from this guy. Now, we're not going to spend a lot of time on this story. It happened in Chicago. A 71-year-old Illinois man accused of fatally stabbing a 6-year-old boy and seriously wounding. You know what? And charged with a hate crime alleged he singled out the victims because of their Islamic faith in response to the war between Israel and Hamas. I don't believe that. I think this is a crazy homeless dude who was just on a stab. He just stabbed somebody. But it happened to be some Muslims, so they're saying it's a hate crime, and they're using it to push this narrative that these crazy white people are out here stabbing Muslims. So he's a tree wizard. Yeah. Like, but here's the contrast, okay? So this guy stabbed some Muslim people. Assuming the story is 100% true, that's horrible. This is a bad guy. And I think they should put his picture up. Looks like he got the hell beaten out of him by cops probably. And I'm fine with that. And I'm fine with them putting his picture up. But let me show you the contrast between the Texas shooting, where the suspect shot 3 people at a fair in Texas. And his name was Cameron Turner. They've given us his name. But in all the articles that I searched, there is no description of the suspect. No height, no race, no ethnic background, no religion, nothing like that. Just his name. And they caught the suspect. Look at the picture they show you in the article. Who is Cameron Turner? Texas State Fair shooting suspect. So you'd think if you click on an article that says, who is Cameron Turner? It would be similar to this, that you'd see a big picture of his big mugshot right on the front page. But look what happens when you go to this article. There's your suspect. Gun violence. Gun violence is your suspect. This person shot 3 people at a state fair, has been caught. There's no description of the suspect. And when you click on the Who is Cameron Turner article, this is the picture that you're greeted by. The gun. Gun violence is the criminal. If you aren't picking up what I'm putting down, then you're not paying enough attention, because this is so crazy. Like, it's getting so ridiculous. Who is Cameron Turner? Texas State Fair shooting suspect. Slaying of 6-year-old Muslim. Crazy old white man stabs Muslim. Who is Cameron Turner, the shooter at the Texas State Fair? That's what you get. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Are you getting what I'm saying? Let's read if there's a description of Cameron Turner. The man who opened fire at a state fair on Texas on Saturday has been identified as 22-year-old Cameron Turner. He has been arrested and charged with 3 counts of aggravated assault in connection with the shooting that left 3 people injured. The man who opened fire at the state fair in Texas on Saturday has been identified as 22-year-old Cameron Turner. He has been arrested and charged with 3 counts, so it says the same thing twice. And that's all it says. That's the article. The same sentence twice. This is the article for who is Cameron Turner. This is what you get from Times Now World. I'm not saying this is a very valid source, but when you Google who is Cameron Turner, Texas State Fair shooting suspect, this is your article. The same paragraph 2 times. The man who opened fire, 22-year-old Cameron Turner, has been arrested, charged with aggravated assault. The man who opened fire at the state fair in Texas on Saturday has been identified as 22-year-old Cameron Turner. He's been arrested and charged with 3 counts of aggravated assault. And this is the photo. Do you get what I'm saying here? Like, this is journalism in 2023. Let's see what Axios has to say. 3 injured, suspect in custody after state fair of Texas shooting. 22-year-old man faced aggravated assault charges. Victims were in stable condition. Shooting on a busy day at the country's largest fair raises questions about the fair's safety protocols. Huh. Well, it doesn't raise questions about the suspect. Maybe the suspect was doing a hate crime. Well, no, it wasn't a hate crime. You know why? Because it was a black kid that shot 3 black kids. So we're not going to get race involved in this. The FBI is not going to look at the statistics of the race. We're not going to talk about violence perpetuated by the young people, the youth, the young party goers. No, we're not going to talk about that. We're going to blame the fair, probably because they let guns in the fair. Let's see. 2 men and women were shot, later determined to have non-threatening injuries. Suspect ran from the scene. Police found and arrested him. The fair delayed its opening on Sunday. State of guns. Texas law allows opening carry of weapons without a license, but private entities and some government sites can restrict them. Huh. State Fair's website says, while the fair is a strong supporter of the rights of responsible gun owning in Texas, open carry is prohibited on the fairgrounds. Concealed carry, a valid handgun license is available. So wait, you're not going to tell us anything about the suspect. This article doesn't tell you his name. This article doesn't tell you his age. It doesn't tell you his race. It doesn't tell you his height. It has no picture of the suspect. This article mentions the suspect once. Oh, it does tell you his age. Okay, it does tell you his age. 22-year-old, a youth. He's one of the youth. Tells you his age. And then we have a full section about guns. This is how much it says about the suspect. This is about the victims. This is about guns in Texas. Do you get what I'm saying? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Those darn youths, those darn guns. But this blew my mind. This really blew my mind that in the article about who is the suspect, this is what I Googled. Who is Cameron Turner? I Googled Cameron Turner, Texas State Fair shooting, because I was trying to find out about the assailant. Is that the right word? I was trying to find out about the suspect. So this is the first article that popped up. Who is Cameron Turner? I thought, great, we're going to get information about him. And this is what you get. The same sentence twice and a picture of a gun. This is your suspect. This is who committed this crime. Meanwhile, this is what you get when a white man stabs a Muslim. This is what you get when a black guy shoots a bunch of black people. I should not even say he's black because I don't know for sure. Let's see if I can find a picture of him because I already looked and I couldn't, but maybe they've released it by now. Maybe he's white. Cameron Turner shooter. Oh, wait, we got pictures. Oh, Fox is giving us the pictures. Fox gives us the picture. Finally, days later from Fox. Meanwhile, Dallas Morning News. Let's see what Dallas Morning News says. They're not going to let me read the Dallas Morning News. Well, screw you, Dallas Morning News. Oh, I just X'd out of it. But Fox is giving us a picture of the suspect. Okay, well, thank you, Fox. I'm not on Fox's nuts because I know they're not that much better, but at least they're a little bit better. At least they'll give us the suspect on the front page. If he was white, we'd already have his. If he was white, would have had his picture 3 days before it happened. The feds would have been watching him. They would have multiple warnings, and then we would find out about the hate crime. Typically on Sundays, thousands of people fared and open, blah, 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 blah. Okay, we got Fox giving us a picture of the suspect. Thank you, Fox. But guess what? Just by reading the initial reports, I already had an idea of what he looked like. And I'm not, you could say, oh, this is racist, Josh. It's not about his race. It's about the double standards and the hypocrisy in the media and how they present stories to us to control a narrative. And to how they want to paint white people as these evil hate crime purveyors. Meanwhile, the FBI doesn't even report on race statistics anymore because the statistics are considered racist. That's what it's about. It's about the double standard. I understand white people shoot people, black people shoot people. I understand that it's not the gun that kills anybody. It's evil people, and it's not about race. It's about people are evil and they will do evil things. It's not about gun control. It's not about hate crimes. All crimes are hate crimes. It's not about racism or race. I'm commenting on the way the media reports on these things and how they give us a one-sided view of things, and they control people's minds with how they report on things. It's crazy. It's really crazy. Let's Let's play this article and then we will be done with the main news segment. This just still blows my mind. This right here really blows my mind. This is your suspect right here. Ban the guns. They're coming for the guns, guys.
And security for its final week after a shooting injured 3 people. Happened around 7:45 last night in a tower building at Fair Park. Witness video shows people rushing to get out of the fairgrounds when the gunfire erupted. Many others hiding for safety. Police arrested the suspect minutes after the shooting, and he is now charged with aggravated assault. Fox 4's Rebecca Butcher spoke with witnesses and a state fair rep about the security concerns.
Well, usually this time of day, thousands of attendees would be at the State Fair of Texas, but on Sunday morning, it was only vendors. The fair didn't open until 1:45 p.m. Sunday. After Dallas police say one man shot at another, injuring 3 people, 2 men and a woman.
That's a hate crime.
All of a sudden, there was 4 gunshots, just pow, 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 and then there was about a minute delay, and then there was another gunshot. People fled.
The shooting took place in the tower.
So wait. So I'm looking at the pictures. I'm looking at pictures of it's from that Dallas Morning News, so they're not going to let me read it. But here, this is the girl from the back. I don't know if you guys can tell, but here's also a picture of her. I did see Texas Fair shooter identified. This guy, an old white man, white girl, and then I think there was a young black man who was shot. But this means a young black man shot 2 white people. Is that a hate crime? Isn't that a hate crime? Is he going to be charged with a hate crime? Huh. Now, again, I don't care about hate crimes. I think that's a stupid thing. It doesn't make any sense. All crimes are hate crimes. It's dumb. They just use that basically to be anti-white and attack white people. I don't ever see anybody else getting hate crimes. But if that's going to be a thing, then it needs to be fair, and it needs to go both ways. If he shot 2 white people, that should be a hate crime.
Building, which is a food. The fair prohibits weapons on the property. However, its policy does make an exception for licensed gun owners.
We don't allow weapons in the State Fair of Texas. However, we understand that Texans have rights to carry their weapons. And so we have a middle ground where those that have a license to carry are allowed to come in with a concealed weapon.
Why are we focused on the guns? Why are we talking about the guns? This is what happened. This is what we get. You know, you get what you.
It is not yet clear how the suspect got a gun onto the fairgrounds. The fair has an open gate weapons detection system.
When people walk through, it detects if there are any weapons on them.
Well, in Salt Lake City, they put metal detectors in one of the school, not in Salt Lake City, but in one of the cities north of here in Utah. They put a metal detector in one of the schools, and they had to take it out because they said it was racist. They said the metal detector was racist towards the black students, which basically they were being racist by doing that, because it's like, what are you saying, that all the black kids are bringing guns to school?
Notifies the security team to then do a deeper inspection at that point in time.
The fair is planning to enhance security during the final week of operations.
We do plan for us to have a heightened security presence, not only on the perimeter of the grounds, but throughout the fairgrounds.
All right, enough of that. I was trying to see if Cassandra Crump was related to Benjamin Crump, but it says he has 9 siblings, but it's not. I don't really want to look that hard to find their names. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if a producer at Fox was related to Benjamin Crump. Would not be surprised if he got her that job. Anyway, that's it for the main story news, guys. That's all we got. Let's chill. Let's hang out. Let's chill. Let's hang out. Let's do some memes. Do some fun stuff. The world's a crazy place. Let's get off that. We could review my tier list. I did a horror movie tier list last year. We could review my horror movie tier list. Also, this Saturday, this coming Saturday, assuming, let's see, if I have to work on Saturday at UP, I'm going to tell them, hey, I had a pre-obligation for Saturday morning. So if there's any way I can do orientation on, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then start working the following week. I had a pre-obligation way before I applied for the job for Saturday. And then after that, all Saturdays I'm open. But if it's not possible, if I have to be there on Saturday, then I will be there on Saturday because my tournament starts at 9 a.m. My shift is from 4:30 to 8:30. It takes an hour for me to get home. So if I have to, I'll work Saturday morning and then I'll rush home and start the tournament. If I have to drop one round of the tournament and come in round 2, I'll do that. But I got the cards I need. I got all the cards I needed for this tournament for next Saturday. So I'll be streaming next Saturday. Not only is it a big Dragon Ball tournament, the last regionals tournament before nationals. But nationals is open this year. I got all the cards I need. These are all the cards that I needed. 4 of these guys, 2 of these guys. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That makes my Beerus deck a lot stronger. So I'm going to play in that tournament on Saturday and UFC 294. Freaking Volkanovski versus, is it Kamat Chimaev that he's fighting? Going to be good fights, UFC 294, and it's going to be happening while I'm playing in the tournament. So I'm going to stream the tournament, but I'll be watching the fights. The fights will be on the computer over there. And then once the tournament's over, then we'll all open up the Discord and hang out with people while we watch the main card of the fights. But it's likely I'm going to have to drop the first round because I'm going to be riding my bike home. And I'm going to get home, rush home. I'll buy a coffee on the way home, jump on the computer and start the tournament. So I'm going to have to get everything set up the night before. So it's going to be crazy. It's going to be a crazy week. We got a crazy week coming up. And then based on what schedule I get, hey, you'll have to bear with me with the streaming schedule. Might have to make some changes, but we shall see. Horror movies are not my thing, but my sister likes them. She's watching the Annabelle movies again. Huh. Nice. All right. Let's do these memes. It's time. Oh, it's time for the memes. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Can you guys figure this one out? Think about it for a second before I spoil it. Roses are red. Then we have this picture here and this picture here. Can you guys figure it out? It took me a little while to figure it out. Think about it. Flat Earth. Danielle Bregoli, also known as Bad Baby. All right, I'm about to spoil it in 3. Enter your answers into the chat. Let me know in chat. What is it? What does it mean? Solve the puzzle. I'd like to buy a vowel. Catch me outside, girl. Yep, that's who it is. Solve the puzzle. Ready in 3, 2, 1, 0. Roses are red. Hold on. I got to get the sound effect ready. Roses are red. The earth is flat. Catch me outside. How about that? Ooh. That's the meme. Roses are red. The earth is flat. Catch me outside. How about that? Next. Nice. How to drive in Florida. Stop sign means slow down to 5 miles per hour, then continue. By the way, if a stop sign has a white outline, a white border, it means it's optional. Just, you guys need to remember that. If you ever see stop sign with a white border around the outside, that means it's optional. Okay, so you just roll right through it. Yield. Check that no one is around. Wait until someone is around and then cut them off. Speed limit 55 means speed limit 65. Speed limit 65 means speed limit 80. Speed limit 70 means no speed limit. That's how to drive in Florida. Next. Well, they were obviously married. This the mummies, Freddy. These are mummies. Is that Mayat and Ra? They're mummies. They were obviously married because she's taking all the sheets. She's taking all the sheets. It's all right. When they take all the sheets, that's when you just Dutch oven them. Dutch oven they ass. Say, well, stop taking all the sheets, and that wouldn't happen. They were obviously married. I hate horror movies. I love horror movies. Next. They were talking about, Latina Cali was talking about Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood last night. When I was a kid, I could watch Chucky. I could watch Friday the 13th. I could watch Nightmare on Elm Street. But dang, Wizard of Oz, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, Lamb Chops Play Along, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, I was not watching any of those shows. They creeped me out. Children's shows and anything where they sang a song, I don't like it. It freaked me out. I'd watch horror movies. I'd watch Power Rangers. I'd watch action movies. But I did not watch children's shows where they sing songs. And also, Mr. Rogers' voice was just too soft. He was just too creepy to me. He's like, hey, kids. Welcome. Welcome to my neighborhood, kids. It's freaky. Freaked me out. I don't like it. Plus, he's a Presbyterian. He'd probably speaking in tongues. Damn liberal Christian. What trans people think they look like, what they actually look like. Okay. Enough of that. Next. I agree, JS. Soft sing-song voices are creepy. Yeah, and puppets are creepy too. But Puppet Master, the movie Puppet Master, I loved that series. I loved it. I loved Puppet Master. But I did not like Lamb Chops Play Along, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, Sesame Street, all that stuff. The Oompa Loompas in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory freaked me out. The Flying Monkeys in Wizard of Oz freaked me out. But I watched Jason stab somebody up, and I'm fine. I used to hide under the coffee table while my dad loved watching horror movies. And so he'd be watching Jason or something, and he knew I was there. It was fine with him, but my mom didn't want me watching that stuff. I would hide under the coffee table, lay down on the floor under the coffee table with a pillow, watching the horror movies, and that way if my mom came out, she wouldn't see me. But he knew I was under there, and I was watching all the scary movies, and I had no problem with it. But you put on a children's show where they're singing songs and being all nice, ain't nobody got time for that. Maybe it's like a boy-girl thing. I don't know. I thought Chucky was lame. Yeah, I liked it because it was cool, but I always thought, like, bro, if I'm a grown-up, this is what I thought when I was a kid. If I'm a grown-up and Chucky's trying to get me, I'm just going to grab him by the hair and hold him like this. Like, what are you going to do, Chucky? I'm taking that knife from you. What are you going to do now? You can't even, your arms are short and tiny. You can't even reach me to do any damage. If I take the knife from you and I grab you by the hair and just hold you, and then I'm going to go throw you into a volcano or something to make sure you never come back. Why did I read this wrong? You don't matter. Give up. You don't matter. Give up. Seems right to me. What's the problem? Oh, it's supposed to say you matter. Don't give up. It says you don't matter. Give up. I like it. I like it. Party time. That's party time music. Next. Breaking. Scientists warn the Earth could run out of conspiracy theories by 2025 if they keep coming true at the current rate. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, we're going to run out of conspiracy theories, guys. We're not going to have any conspiracy theories left when they all come true. Next. Ukraine. Guys, I can explain. Florida. Biden is giving you $75 billion, and we only get $8.8 billion. Hawaii. Billion. We're only getting $95 million. East Palestine, Ohio. Wait, you guys are getting paid? Ukraine says, guys, I can explain. I can explain. Yeah, East Palestine, Ohio. That's where the train blew up, and they're all turning into weird zombies over there. Next. You at the airport. You at the airport. They got their hands in your butt. Last time I went to the airport, they checked me. They stopped me and pulled me out of the line and checked me. I think it's because I smoked a joint before I went into the airport, and I smoked it like not on the airport property, but kind of like I got dropped off at the terminal and I walked down the sidewalk to like the bus stop, but the bus stop is still real close to the airport, and I smoked a joint. I don't smoke weed anymore. I'm not a pothead anymore. I quit smoking the devil's lettuce. But at the time, this is like a year or two ago, like 2 years ago, I smoked a joint pretty close to the airport, and then I walked in smelling like pot. And when I was going through the line, they pulled me out and they gave me the full feel down. And I was like, I don't have anything. I already smoked it. But this is us at the airport. This is Juan at the border. They're dapping him up. They're dapping old Juan up. That sounds about right. Sounds about right. Next. Sad trombone. What's this sound? I said, Alexa, what do women want? This thing hasn't shut up for 7 days. Sounds about right. Sounds about right. Alexa, shut up. Shut up, Alexa. You keep talking. Next. Hard to swallow. Michelle, no. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
It's a man, baby.
Oh, Mike, Big Mike. Poor Michelle. Michelle, no. No, Michelle. Please don't. Hard to swallow.
Beta!
Oh, poor Obama.
I am not gay. I have relationships with women and sex with men.
And I got news for you.
That means you're gay.
That means you're gay.
Next. I should have played dun 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 dun. U.S. government, $80 million fighter jet. Can't find it. U.S. government, your Venmo. Zooming in on my Venmo. People send me birthday money to the Cashapp. Don't send it to the Venmo because they're going to be watching it for taxes. Looks about right. Next. Many people believe the most frequently washed body part in 2021 was the hands. But in fact, it was the brain. Yep. Sounds about right. That looks to be true. Next. Hamas attacks Israel. Hamas attacks Israel. Hamas attacks Israel. Israel defends itself. Israel attacked Gaza today. Dun, dun, dun. Next. You know, Rashida Tlaib has the Palestine flag and the gay flag outside of her office. Well, it says Palestinian flag outside Rashida Tlaib's office seen throwing pride flag off the roof.
Beta!
Yep, that looks about right. They're throwing it off the roof. I like that one. That's so funny. Poor flag. You just got thrown off a roof, my boy. I love the sound effect. Me too. All right. Next. But why do you need an AR-15 with 30 rounds? Because the world just watched Hamas go door to door slaughtering unarmed Israelis. The government won't always be there to protect you, so you must protect yourself. Yep. Watch out for the Clintons, too.
Murderers.
Yeah. Oh, Clinton, he murdered a guy.
Yep, that sounds about right. All right, next. Me going to work knowing some 8-year-old YouTuber made $30 million playing with toys. Yeah. Yep. Little Ryan. Ryan's getting rich over here. The airport story reminds me of an old Waylon Jennings song. Been a long time gone. I don't know it. I don't know the song. Next. Commander fighting off the lizard people in the White House circa 2023. I wish I had some fighting sound effects. I don't have any sound effects for fighting, but we can get a slow clap for this guy ninja kicking an alligator. That's a lizard person. The reptilians. It's a reptile person. It's the reptilian. Gotta check it out. I will check it out. Next. Gun-free zones, bump stock ban, assault weapon ban, high-capacity magazine ban, permits for concealed carry, background checks, NFA. Criminals just walk right through it. They just walk right through it. Yep. Doesn't work. Does not work. Next. Let me introduce y'all to the new mayor of Friend Zone. Oh, man. Look at this guy. This poor guy.
Beta!
Oh, he's holding the girl up on his shoulders so she could kiss her boyfriend. That's the mayor of Simpville. The mayor of Friend Zone. Looks about right. That means you're gay. Next. John Fetterman and Dianne Feinstein circa 1984. Slop loves John. What's Frankie sound like? What's this one do? Oh, that's spooky. That's spooky noise. Savage. Next. Columbus was an immigrant who brought diversity to America. Changed my mind. Changed my mind. Yep. Columbus was an immigrant who brought diversity to America. Changed my mind. Last week, Monday, was Columbus Day, and we didn't even talk about it. We talked about it last year. Columbus was based. Read his diaries. A lot of people misperceive what he wrote in his diaries when he writes about how the slaves will be, or when he writes about how the indigenous people are beautiful and they would make perfect slaves. He's talking about slaves for Christ. He's talking about making them Christians. If you read the entire diaries of Columbus in context, you'll understand that. But they'll twist it and take it out of context to make him look like an evil guy. When really he was just trying to make Christians. And the natives needed that. The Indians. Columbus was based. That was a bad sound effect. Columbus really was based. All right. Next. Not my flag, not my war. Ukraine. Also not my flag. Also not my war. Israel. Also not my flag, not my war. China. Russia. Palestine flag. Taiwan. Guatemala. None of those are my flags. None of those are my wars. We got our own war to fight in America that we need to deal with. Yep. Sounds about right. Next. Show me where in the Bible it says this star is attributed to David. Still searching? You won't find it attributed to David. You will, however, find it attributed to Satan in Acts 7:43 and Amos 5:26. So I did a little research for you guys on this meme. Let me find something real quick. Do a little side note. For you. All right. Let's see. So let's go to, first we'll go to Amos 5:26 in the Old Testament, and then I'll tell you right now that Acts 7:43 is pretty much just a reiteration of Amos 5:26 repeated in the New Testament by Paul. Amos 5:26, you shall take up Sekuth, your king, and Kiyor, your star god, your images that you made for yourself, and I will send you into exile beyond Damascus, says the Lord, whose name is God of hosts. So he's talking to, did you bring me sacrifices and offerings during the 40 years in the wilderness, O house of Israel? You shall take up Sekuth, your king, and Kiyun, your star god. They were worshiping false gods, and they were making effigies to their false gods, and he was condemning them for this, for doing this. In Amos 7:43, it's repeated, and there's a newer name for the same old gods. Did you bring me slain beasts and sacrifices during the 40 years in Israel, in the wilderness, O house of Israel? You took up the tent of Moloch and the star of your god Remphan, the images that you made to worship, and I will send you to exile beyond Babylon. So they were getting punished for worshiping the star of the god Remphan. So when you Google, what does the star of Remphan look like? This is what it looks like. 2 stars. We have this star, which is the obverse of it, and this star, which is the reverse of it. When you start to get into numerology and stuff, which is actually satanic and evil, and you shouldn't get into it, it is true sometimes that there are hidden codes and things, but usually when you're getting obsessed with those codes and stuff, that's Satan, because the codes are usually satanic and evil and often used to twist things, and they're just not good, because when you start getting into it, you find out that there's 6 triangles on this Star of David, and then there's a 6-sided, what's it called? It's not a pentagon, but it's not a hexagon. Hexagon has 8 sides, but anyway, there's a 6-sided thing in here, and there are 6 stars, and there are 6 points. 6 points, 6 stars, and a 6-sided thing here. So 666. But again, that stuff is, you're getting a little weird when you get into that stuff, because the pentagram only has 5 points and a 5-sided pentagon inside of it, and 5 stars. So 555, that's not really a significant number. But anyway, this is the star of Remphan right here. This star right here, the obverse and the reverse of it. And it has Remphan, or Moloch is the owl god. And then you got, I think it's Baal is the bull. And then you have Baphomet and Remphan, all these things, different names for similar things, but the occultic origins of the Star of David. So this is what the Bible was saying in Amos and in Acts, that the Star of David, not a good thing. Not a good thing, Israel. Read your Bible. I knew you'd look into this one, Josh. I did as well. Yeah. Yeah, I read it and I was like, okay, I don't want to say this unless I do some reading into it, because especially if a meme is talking about like a Bible verse, I'm going to go to the Bible and I want to look into it. And seems about pretty accurate. The meme seems pretty accurate. Next. Show me what you can do with your fingers. I can do this. Yo, check this out. If some girl tells me, show me what you can do with your fingers, I'm gonna be like, I can do this. I can make a snake. Watch this. It's a snake. I can make a snake. Hello, I'm a snake. I'm a little snake. And I can do this. I'm glad I live in Salt Lake City, because I can do this without worrying about dying. I can throw up the blood. I can throw down the blood. B's up. C's up. Folk. 8 ball. Blood. Throw it down. Star of David. Oh, speaking of Stars of David. Hold on a second. If I was a gangster, they'd kill me for this. They'd kill me for this, but I live in Utah, so I'm safe. That's what I can do with my fingers. What can you do with your fingers? I can also make shadow puppets. I can make... You do this, and you can do like 2 people making love. You can't really see it on my wall, though. Anyway, that's what I could do with my fingers. How about you? Next! Echo's in a meme! Echo made it into a meme. Did you guys know that Echo is famous? He made it into a meme. My dog when he's eating. Don't tread on me. I'm a damn conquistador American. You're not getting near this bowl. This is my food. Don't come near it. My dog, when I'm eating, all of a sudden he's a communist and we need to share everything. And we need to be, everything's for the community. Can I have some? Can I have it? Can I have it? That's Echo. He's in a meme. He made it in a meme. Oh, Echo. Oh, Echo. I can hear 4 now. That's Echo. That's Echo's voice. He made it into the meme. We're getting paid, boys. All right. Next. Cougar area. Please stay on trails, travel in small groups, and do not allow men under 30 to travel alone. Yep. Sounds about right. Watch out for cougars. Next. I hate it when you offer someone a sincere compliment on their mustache and suddenly she's not your friend anymore. What?
It's a man, baby.
Oh, no.
Beta!
Darn commie dog. Next. U.S. taxpayer dollars. Also U.S. taxpayer dollars. Huh. Interesting. All I see is a whole bunch of U.S. taxpayer dollars getting blown up in the sky. But it looks cool. This is not what we meant when we said the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air. This is not what that meant. Okay? I think they took the joke too far because this is not what that meant in that song. Danger. Oh, I should have used that for the Obama one. Next. When she wants a hug after she tells you about her penis. What?
Beta!
It's a man, baby.
No. Come on now. Sorry, you're not getting a hug. You're not getting a hug. That means you're gay. Next. I wonder why the media shows the invasion and murders in Israel, but doesn't show the invasion and murders in America. Yep. My brain has an error when that happens. Next. Here's Joe Biden, and is that the Chinese guy? Don't trust China. China's asshole. Hey, you give me money, little girls, and ice cream. Yes, you give me United States. That sounded kind of like Arnold. Yes, you'll give me United States. Yes, no trade backs. No trade backs, Joe Biden. He wants money, little girls, and ice cream. China wants America. He's going to make the deal. No trade backs. Next. I'm not racist. I hate white liberals more than anybody. Hey. That's about right. That sounds about right. I agree. Next. Athletes at the 2028 Summer Olympics in Chicago trying to determine which gunshot is the starting pistol. Which gunshot? How do we know when to go? Was that somebody being murdered or was that the starting pistol? Next. I hate Trump. Ilhan Omar. I hate Trump. Some people did something. I hate Trump. Most terrorists do. Most terrorists do hate me. Yep. I don't know why I keep hitting that honk. That's really a dorky sound. Most terrorists do hate me. I agree. You're fired. Slam the door in her face. She's fired. Slow clap for Trump. Flush for Ilhan Omar. And that's it for the memes. That's all the memes we got. That's all we got for the memes.
Oldest trick in the book, my friend. I wish I could do the same. Okay, so like if Native people in America...
Yeah, sometimes he's kind of annoying, but some of his stuff is pretty funny. And I don't really like his stand-up. But his little videos, they're kind of good.
Took down some girls at Coachella. Funny. I'd probably be like with the natives against me, right? Like that seems right. I can talk to my representation for you if you're... No, it's okay.
Yeah, he does kind of look like a tweaker, huh?
Palestine's got to have Jewish people there, right? Like Palestine, isn't that? Am I being messed with here?
Hi, my name's Alexa, and
Whoa, what up, Alexa? Get out of here. I ain't simping for you. All right. So we already talked about that story. Let's go to the reels. Let's watch some funny reels, and then we'll do rapid fire news, global news from around the world, and then just some other interesting stories. Here's a funny one. Y'all ready for this? Schools in foreign countries. So it's doing numbers on the screen, and he's sitting there rapidly adding them up. Schools in foreign countries. He got it. He got it correct. Meanwhile, in America, ski ye. Ski ye. Ski ye. Ski ye. It's up and it's stuck. One more time. I want you to see that again. This is in Asia. This is in America.
Beta!
Okay, enough of that crap. Wow. And we wonder... we wonder why our country's going down the drain. Okay. We got some baby shorts. Little babies.
Martin Luther King Jr.
Martin Luther King Jr. What'd he do?
He died for our sins.
No, that was about in school.
Martin Luther King Jr.
Martin Luther King Jr. What'd he do?
He died for our sins.
Martin Luther King Jr. died for our sins. That's what she learned in school. Oh, public schools, yes. This is what they're learning. One more time.
No, that was about in school.
Martin Luther King Jr.
Martin Luther King Jr. What'd he do?
He died for our sins.
No.
We got another baby meme. Can we get a smart baby? Can we get one smart baby in the reels?
The ceiling.
The great big titty in the sky. The source from which all the world's milk flows. Everlasting. Endless nutrition.
Smart baby!
Unmatched flavor. No baby's lips have ever made direct contact. But mine shall.
Smart baby!
One day. One day.
Why is he always looking at the ceiling?
The great big titty in the sky.
Big titty in the sky. The source from which all the world's milk flows.
Nice. Smart. We got one smart baby. One smart baby. He just wants the great big titty in the sky. Look at his little face. So much hope. So much wisdom in that child compared to that other girl. All right, I think we got one more. Oh, this is funny.
Why are you hanging out with him? He can't even walk.
Yeah? Well, I can. And I'm walking away.
From you.
From you. Actually, let's roll.
Let's roll.
Making fun of someone with a disability
is retarded.
Why are you hanging out with him? He can't even walk.
One more time.
Yeah? Well, I can. And I'm walking away from you. Actually, let's roll.
Making fun of someone with a disability is retarded.
Is retarded. Nice. All right. That's it for the reels. That's it for the memes. That's it for the reels. We watched a funny video. Let's do rapid fire news, and then we'll get to these spooky stories. Spooky stories. I've been wanting to talk about the Hinterkaifeck murders for a long time. Ever since my daddy Jub told me about them. He's like, you should do a show on this. and he sent me some stuff, and I looked into it, and I was very much very much intrigued. Super spooky. So we'll watch some. It's chill stream, you know. So we'll watch some videos and stuff from the Hinterkaifeck murders, the real life Annabelle, and the stairways in the woods. That was epic. I'll never make fun of people in wheelchairs again. But first, we got to do rapid fire news. Before I do that, plug time. Make sure you hit the like button, Rumble. Make sure you're followed up. Make sure you go subscribe on YouTube if you're not yet. JS Urban Adventures on YouTube, where we upload these videos edited onto YouTube. If you want a decorative red bottle, not for human consumption, but if it were, I'll tell you right now, it's delicious. You know, you could send me a $20 gift donation to the channel with your address. You can get it to me on Facebook. You can get it to me on Discord. However you need to get it to me, give me your address, and I will send you out a free gift of a decorative bottle, artistic. This is just an artistic red bottle, not for human consumption. $20 covers shipping of your free gift when you donate to me, and then I send you an artistic red bottle. What's in these red bottles, you might ask, that is not safe for human consumption, FDA? Not for eating. You just decorate your scrambled eggs with it. You know? Super hot sauce. Super hot habanero and ghost pepper. Red sauce. Mango habanero. This is my favorite. This is delicious. This is freaking bomb. They came out much better than last year. Better consistency. Not as much color and variation and variety in the color. They're all red, as you can see. But great consistency. Pours nicely out of the bottle. You might have to take the little cap off. Pours nicely out of the bottle. Great spice. This one is really kicking hot, and it's got a slow burn. It lingers, and it's really hot because it's got ghost pepper in it. This is the hottest one. This is the mango habanero. This is the middle heat. This is hot off the rip, and it's sweet with the mango. This is my favorite. And then the pineapple serrano, which is red hot serranos, not green light serranos. But this one has a real hot from the get-go. It's hot the second it hits your tongue, but it doesn't linger. So, you know, this would be comparable in heat to like a Tabasco sauce or a Frank's Red Hot. And it's pineapple, so it's also got a sweetness to it. All three of them are really good this year, better than last year. But this is not for human consumption. These are just decorative, artistic pieces that you put on a shelf and you look at them, you know. But super spooky ghost hot sauce for decorating spooky eggs. Yes, not for edible, not for eating, just for decoration, just for artistic reasons. You're not even supposed to open it. In case we got any snitches watching. All right. But that's it. Oh, yeah, and it's my birthday. If you want to hit the Cash App up, Dreadedconservative, $ Dreadedconservative on Cash App. Send me some birthday money. Anyway, let's get back to the news, the rapid fire news, so we can wrap this up. We got global news. We got more stories from across the world, more craziness happening across the world. Indigenous Australians call for a week of silence after historic referendum fails. I guess they're trying to get the Aboriginal people, the indigenous Aboriginal people, recognized. Thank you, Jeff Hewitt. I'm 36 years old today. But it did not pass. Now, these Aboriginals are it's not like Guatemala indigenous people who make up like 50% of the population. They make up 3.8% of the population. Australian Indigenous leaders are calling for a week of silence after a referendum to recognize Indigenous people in the Constitution failed. Every state in mainland territory, except the Australian Capital Territory, rejected the measure to enshrine an Indigenous voice to Parliament, an advisory body in the Constitution. More than 60% of voters opposed the measure, but it was largely more popular among Indigenous Australians. Well, of course. So the Indigenous, but they're only 3% of the population. Like, why do we need to have? I'm actually surprised that Australia didn't pass this because they're basically getting ran by China over there, communists, and it's becoming very liberal. There are some areas that are still like red and conservative by Australia's standards, but it's becoming like all of the West, very liberal. China's taking over there. They had the COVID camps that they're putting people in Australia, if you remember that. So I'm surprised this didn't get passed, but the indigenous people of Australia are the Aboriginal and the Torres Strait Islander people. They make up 3.8% of the population, but Australia has not formally recognized or reached a treaty with them. Supporters of the referendum were flying Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islands flags at half-staff across Australia on Sunday to symbolize their disappointment. Reuters reported that the indigenous leaders are calling for a week of silence in the wake of the failed proposal. At least they're peaceful. This is a bitter irony, the indigenous leaders said in a statement, according to Reuters, that people who have only been on this continent for 235 years would refuse to recognize those whose home this land has been for 60,000 and more years is beyond reason. Yeah, whatever. You didn't build the cities. You didn't build the Constitution. Why do you care? Why don't you just keep your little wilderness area that you live in the desert somewhere in your huts and be happy with that? This is what I don't get. They say we stole the land. They say the evil white man colonizer came in and stole the land from us, but you still have land. In fact, we've given you land. We've given you a place to live. We've given you all these allowances. We've given you your reservations. This is American indigenous people, but I'm sure it's very similar in Australia. They have places where they can live their traditional lifestyle, and they get all these benefits. They don't have to pay the taxes like everybody else. They can do what they want on their reservations, and they didn't build up the society that we live in and that we embrace. So why do they want to take part in our society? If they hate us so much for stealing the land and colonizing it and doing all this evil white man, white devil stuff, then why do they want to be part of it so bad? You know? Anyway, so that's Australia. Meanwhile, in Afghanistan, they're getting hit up with earthquakes. From Al Jazeera, the Muslim propaganda news, Afghanistan's being hit with earthquakes. You know there's going to be a lot of earthquakes in the end times. We're always in the end times. Don't worry, guys. I'm not a doomsdayer. But it is kind of interesting. Afghanistan's Herat province hit by third earthquake in nearly a week. At least one person reported dead and nearly 100 injured after a magnitude 6.3 earthquake hits Herat province. The western province of Herat in Afghanistan has been hit with a magnitude 6.3 earthquake. It's third since powerful quakes on October 8th killed more than 2,000 people. The United States Geological Survey said the quakes hit just after 8 a.m. on Sunday, with the epicenter 33 kilometers or 20. We don't use that commie measurement. 21 miles northwest of Herat City, the capital of the eponymous Western Province. What's eponymous mean? The capital of the eponymous Western Province. Huh. It was followed by a magnitude 5.5 aftershock 20 minutes later, it said. The effect of Sunday's earthquakes is still unclear, but the AFP news agency quoted Abdul Karim Muhammadi, head doctor at Herat Regional Hospital, as saying, so far 93 injured and 1 dead have been registered. Another magnitude 6.3 earthquake had hit about 25 miles northwest of Herat 8 days ago, with several strong aftershocks of lesser magnitude following. That earthquake had proven devastating, leveling a large number of rural homes and killing 2,053 people, according to Taliban officials. Let's see if we can watch this video without an advertisement. Probably going to give us an ad. Yeah, I don't really care.
And funerals are taking place across Afghanistan's Herat province after a devastating earthquake struck the country on Saturday.
Where are we hearing audio from?
A Taliban spokesperson said more than 2,400 people were killed in the 6.3 magnitude earthquake.
Basic fundamental
6 villages were destroyed and hundreds of civilians.
I don't know where the audio is coming from.
It's one of the deadliest earthquakes to strike the country in 2
I don't know where the audio is coming from.
And the quake struck a densely populated area
near
Afghanistan's 4th largest city. Survivors of Saturday's deadly quake were rushed to hospitals.
I don't know where the audio is coming from.
Some of them were pulled alive from the rubble.
This tab is playing audio.
Members have been martyred.
Where are you playing the audio from?
And my other son is also injured. Most of the people.
Huh? It's playing from here, but the video's not playing. This is kind of weird.
Has the right to seek safety and protection.
Anyway, get out of here, Al Jazeera. Enough of that. And then, last but not least, for our global news, we got Russia-Ukraine propaganda updates. See, Reuters is going to let me read this article. That's weird. No let-up in Russia. Strikes on Ukrainian town of Avdiivka. Russia's military pressed on with fierce assaults on the eastern Ukrainian town of Avdiivka on Saturday, with shelling so fierce that emergency crews were unable to recover the dead from wrecked buildings. The town's top administrative official said it was the 5th straight day of assaults on the town of Ukraine's industrial heartland of Donbass, focal point of Moscow's 19-month-old invasion of its neighborhood. So there's your update on Ukraine. That's it for the global news. But let's take a look at some other interesting news. We only have 4 more stories. Actually, we only have 2 more stories, and then one thing I just want to show you guys. Who was here Saturday, and who heard my debate with that guy, Ellen DeGenerate, the liberal guy? We'll talk about that in a second. Let's finish up with these stories. Here's an interesting story. Keep your love locks out of the Grand Canyon, officials say. So, apparently, it's a new social media TikTok trend thing that when you get married or when you come girlfriend and boyfriend, you go to a bridge or you go to the Grand Canyon or you go somewhere and you take a padlock with 2 keys, and I guess you lock your padlock to like a handrail or a fence or something like that. And then you throw the keys into the river or you throw the keys into the Grand Canyon. And it symbolizes your love is locked down and it can't be undone because the keys are gone. Well, the problem is that the Californian condor, what's it called? Commitment of love, British idea. What's the bird called? It's some sort of condor. The California condor is a scavenging bird that's known for picking up shiny things like coins, foil, and even keys. But condors that are unlucky enough to consume this type of trash are typically unable to pass it, which in extreme cases can put them in surgery or even result in their deaths. But so here's the thing. They're going around cutting all the locks. But cutting the lock is not going to save the condors. The key is already out there. You need to be going around with a metal detector finding the keys if you want to save the condor. Leave the lock. Like, cutting the lock and showing a picture of all the locks is not going to save the condors. You need to go find the keys. The keys are the problem, not the locks. I heard part of the debate. I just couldn't deal with his stupid voice. Yeah, it got irritating pretty quick. So there's that story. So don't do love locks, padlocks, and throw the keys because the California condor might eat it and die. And they're cutting the locks, but they're not saving the condors because the keys are already out there. Anyway, enough of that story. Last news story, and then I will do some commentary on that debate. I want to clarify some things. Anyway, and it wasn't really even really a debate. I'll get to that. I just when I have these discussions with people, I like to go back and watch it, see where I made mistakes, see where I can get better, see what I can learn from it. So I'll do a little commentary on that, what I thought about it. But here we go from ABC News. This is a crazy story from Colorado. 115 bodies found improperly stored at Colorado funeral home offering environmentally friendly burials. So they're like climate people offering environmentally friendly burials. And I guess they were hiding the bodies in the walls of the funeral home. Let's get this playing.
Deceased bodies stored in the Return to Nature funeral home.
Return to Nature.
31 Warner Drive.
They're putting them in the walls.
Due to the magnitude of this situation, My office requested assistance from the Colorado Bureau of Investigation and the Federal Bureau of Investigation to utilize their resources. Fremont County deputies and the Fremont County coroner, state, and federal officers worked late into the evening last night to determine the scope of this scene. Without providing too much detail to avoid further victimizing these families, the area of the funeral home where the bodies were improperly stored was horrific. To give you an idea of the scope of this search, the area to be searched is over 2,500 square feet. With regard to the investigation, there have been no arrests to date, and we don't want to speculate about arrests or possible charges at this time.
I see dead
We're
people in the
focusing on
walls.
our investigation and our victims. We're working closely with the 11th
Environmentally friendly burial. We just stick them in the wall. We make walls out of the bodies.
Judicial District Attorney's Office and the U.S. Attorney's Office.
I think Freddie or my brother told me about this on Saturday, and they're like, did you know 115 bodies were found at a funeral home? And I was like, isn't that where they're supposed to be found? Isn't that where dead bodies go? I don't understand what the story is. That's like saying that they found dead bodies at the morgue. Big surprise. But I guess the funeral home is not the cemetery. They're not supposed to put the dead bodies in the walls of the funeral home.
On all aspects of this investigation, along with our state and federal partners. I'd like to close by letting the impacted families know that this case is my office's highest priority, and we will do all within our statutory authority in assessing every resource available for the resolution that you deserve.
So, crazy. Let's read this article. A funeral home offering environmentally friendly burials is under investigation after more than 115 human remains were found being improperly stored on the property, according to authorities. Deputies from Fremont County Sheriff's Office in Colorado were dispatched to Return to Nature Funeral Home based in Colorado Springs, Colorado. And they be doing a lot of weird stuff out there. They got a lot of military bases. That's where, like, I feel like that's the hub of like MK Ultra and mind control experiments and putting stuff in the water. That's where like the Aurora shooting happened. They're always having shootings. Columbine was near there. And they got in Colorado Springs, they got like 3 military bases in the mountains around the city. And I think that there's some crazy stuff going on there. In reference to a suspicious incident, the Fremont County Sheriff's Office said the Fremont County Sheriff's Office found around 115 decomposing bodies stored inside a space of about 2,500 square feet. The bodies are in such bad shape that they will need to be identified through DNA. During the last 40, we already heard him say that. These are all quotes from the officers. We already heard the officer. Here's a picture. I hope that's not a body in the picture. Families will be notified when the bodies can be identified. Well, just assume if you took your family member to that funeral home because you wanted an environmentally friendly burial, they just threw it in a room somewhere or in a wall. Without providing too much detail to avoid further victimization of these families, the area of the funeral home where the bodies were improperly stored was horrific. The scene was so bad that a paramedic who first responded developed a rash and had to be medically evacuated. They did not disclose what they were doing with the human remains, but did confirm that they were working with the coroner's office, Bureau of Investigation, FBI. Green burial is a natural way of caring for your loved ones with minimal environmental impact. Green burial aids in the conservation of natural resources. Isn't it natural for us just to die and go back into the dirt? Isn't that already pretty natural? Even like green burial, what do you just bury them without a casket? Caskets are made of wood. If your casket is made of wood, maybe don't have all the decorative stuff and the gold all over it. But if you have a wooden casket and a body in it and you bury it, I feel like that's already green. That's already natural. That's just the way it works. I don't think they're trying to make extra money by saying we do green burials. No carbon emissions, reduction of carbon emissions, and the preservation of habitat. I'm not surprised that some tree hugger climate change commies trying to get rich off of doing green burials or just throwing the bodies in a room somewhere. without the use of harsh embalming chemicals, metallic plastic, or unnatural items. The website for the funeral home says you can still view your loved one who is not embalmed. Embalming is not a law. In the state of Colorado, within 24 hours, the body must be either embalmed or placed in a regulated temperature-controlled environment, meaning under refrigeration or dry ice. Oh, so they had him in a big refrigerator. Family members of decadents who utilize the Return to Nature funeral home, please send an email to this place. Sue them. So, crazy story from Colorado. All right. That's it for all the news. That's it for all the stories. Let me give my thoughts on that guy. He was just a troll. Some people are just wrong. Yep. That guy was just trying to troll, but he wasn't mentally equipped to do so successfully. So, here's the thing. First off, I do love debating, and that's why I entertained it, and I let him come on. And even though he was being rude to other people, I let him stick around for a little while, and I entertained it. And he was in the chat. He was talking to me in the chat. He said, I want to get on the Discord. I said, okay. And he came in the Discord, and it started off, fine. And he wasn't being too insulting until later when he saw that everybody, was kind of ganging up on him. Then he started calling Floor a bitch. He called me and Freddie a retard multiple times, which I'm fine with all that. Like, of course it's disrespectful, but it wasn't a big deal to me. But I wasn't. So here's my critiques. Maybe what I could have done differently, but maybe not. I'm kind of okay with the way it went, but it was a Saturday stream. Saturday stream is where I open the Discord up. We talk about whatever. We just hang out. We watch the fights. We kick it. I play some games, maybe play some videos. It's a chill stream. There's no plan, nothing like that. So when he came on hot wanting to debate, I wasn't in the mood to debate. I was in the mood to hang out and kick back and relax. Big and bad being boo, And so he came in hot wanting to debate, and I really wasn't in the mood for that. So I was kind of being flippant with him, and I was just like, just saying what I think, and then I'm not going to really try to rebuttal you and go into these deep debates or anything like that. Now, if I'm going to debate somebody, I want it to be a formal debate. The debate with Freddie, I prepared for. I wrote an introduction. I wrote an outro. I collected my sources. I gathered my information. I structured my arguments, and I got ready for any arguments that he would have against my position. Me and Freddie, when we debated, can Christian values save America? So I was ready for that debate, and we stayed on the topic, and we had a moderator, and we had our introductions, we had our rebuttals, and then we had open dialogue, and then we had closing statements. It was a formal debate. If I'm debating somebody, I want it to be like that, like a real debate. If somebody just wants to come in and argue with me, then I'm not going to take it as seriously. So if you go back and watch that from Saturday, just know, A, I wasn't taking it that seriously. B, when I say something, I need to not say numbers. Because I'm going to give you an example here in a second. Because I will say things that are true, but I don't always remember the numbers and the percentages and stuff like that. So I need to not say numbers, because if I say the number and I'm wrong, now they can say my whole statement was wrong. So at one point in the debate, he was talking about gay adoption. And I said, I don't think gay people should be allowed to adopt. He said, why? And this is something that I looked into a long time ago. So I knew I was right, because I've looked into this before when I was watching another debate. Hake was debating with some liberal, and they were talking about gay adoption, and Hake is like, no, they shouldn't be allowed. And Hake was given all the spiritual stuff, it's not natural, it's not of God. But I was trying to find a more logical reason for why it shouldn't be allowed. And what I came to is what I told this kid that was in my Discord on Saturday. I said, if you have two gay parents, it's going to increase your likelihood of being gay by 60%. And if you increase your likelihood of being gay, that increases your likelihood of committing suicide. So by having two gay parents, then you are raising the chance that your kid is going to commit suicide, which is harming the kid. That's a logical, not a biblical. I don't have to use God to explain that. I can use stats, I can use studies, and I can say that's harming children. It's proof that you are raising their chance of committing suicide. But I said 60%. And he called me on that. He's like, where'd you get that from? What's your source? Everything I said, he wanted a source. I'm not going to play that game with you, because all that's going to happen is I'm going to pull up a source and I'm going to show you my source, and they're going to say, well, I don't agree with that source. So, and he was calling me out on fallacies, doing the debate bro stuff. That's a fallacy. That's a fallacy. I know all the fallacies too, my boy. And you're using a fallacy right now. The source thing, when you're attacking the source instead of the argument, that's a fallacy. So I was wrong with my numbers when I said 60%. And this is why I shouldn't say numbers. I should just say it dramatically increases the chance that the kid's going to turn gay. And then if the kid turns gay, that's going to increase their chance that they're going to commit suicide. That's what I should have said. But I said 60%. And then he starts saying, well, you're a Christian and you're lying. You're not pulling up the studies. You're not pulling up the stats. I could have pulled this up for him. And then I could have said, okay, I was wrong on my number. I said 60%. I was wrong on that. I exaggerated the numbers a little bit. But let's see what this says from PubMed, National Library of Medicine, PubMed. 10 narrative studies involving family histories of 262 children of gay fathers and lesbian mothers were evaluated statistically in response to Morrison's 2007 concerns about Cameron's 2006 research that it involved 3 narrative studies. Despite numerous attempts to bias the results in favor of the null hypothesis and allowing for up to 20 of 63, 32% coding errors, Cameron's 2006 hypothesis that gay and lesbian parents would be more likely to have gay, lesbian, bisexual, or unsure of sexual orientation sons and daughters was confirmed. Percentages of children of gay and lesbian parents who adopted non-heterosexual identities range between 16% and 57%. That's where I got my 60% number. I was taking the highest and I was rounding up. So my 60% number was a little over exaggerated by the least conservative estimate. The least conservative estimate, the least generous estimate would be 57%, which is pretty close to 60, which means I wasn't entirely wrong. I was just off on my numbers by a little bit, by 3%. But to be fair, it could be as low as 16%. But regardless, that's still an increase. And then you can find studies that homosexuality increases your suicidality rate. So my argument was sound. I just shouldn't have said 60%. And then he starts saying, you're a Christian and you're a liar. And also with women, it's even higher. It's 33 to 57%. And so there is a study. I had read this before, but I didn't pull it out and show it to him because I'm not going to play that game. Not now, if we're doing a formal debate, I would have this locked and loaded. This would be in the chamber. If we're going to have a debate over should gay people be allowed to adopt, this is going to be locked and loaded, and I'm going to memorize these numbers beforehand, and I'm going to have it written down on my paper, and I'm going to bust it out in the middle of the debate. But if I'm just chilling talking with a guy, then I'm not going to play the sources game. There was a number of other things. He got he tried to use Deuteronomy 22 to say that the Bible it allows rape, which it doesn't. I've talked about other situations like this where they'll try to say that Jesus that God made transgenders because it says in Genesis that it says he made man and woman, made he them, or he made them, basically. And they say, well, them, that means he made transgender people. It's not what it means. The same thing with abortion. They'll take the verse out of Exodus, I believe, where it talks about if the wife or if the man assumes that the woman is cheating and she's pregnant and that it's not his kid, then the priest will make a concoction with ashes and water, and she'll drink it, and he'll do a blessing on it, or basically it'll be a cursed water But the water is not a poison. If this is a spiritual thing, the idea is that she drinks this water, and then by doing that ritual, if she cheated on the man, then God will kill the baby and make her womb barren. But it's not that the priest is performing an abortion on the woman. He's not going in there with tools and opening her and cutting the baby apart or using chemicals. It's just drinking water with ashes in it. And then God does the work. God says, well, that baby was made by infidelity. I'm going to make her womb barren, and she's not going to have that baby. And there's another one they use to justify abortion. But what they'll do is they'll take the Bible and they'll take one verse out of the Old Testament out of context, and then they'll twist it to fit their narrative. And I wasn't real brushed up and knowledgeable on the whole rape Deuteronomy thing. If he would have came with the abortion one, I would have got him on it because I know that one well. But the rape Deuteronomy argument, I wasn't real knowledgeable on that, so I was reading about it while he was talking about it, and it was some nonsense. It was some nonsense as usual. But another kind of critique is that we bounced around a lot. But maybe it's not a critique because, again, this was a chill Saturday stream. This wasn't a debate stream, so we didn't have a topic. We didn't have a moderator. And Freddie jumps in and Freddie starts, oh, yeah, he got you, JS, he got you. Being dumb, agreeing with everything this dude's saying. And then as soon as I step away and Freddie and this dude start talking, they start arguing. And then Floor comes in and then they're arguing. And then Seesaw comes in and they're arguing. And I just sat back and let it happen. But when me and him were talking, we jumped to like 30 topics. And maybe I should have tried to just pin him down on like one thing, because originally he wanted to talk about vaccines when he was in the chat, and we didn't really talk about vaccines at all. Instead, we just went from topic to topic to topic to topic. Maybe I should have just pinned him down on one, but I kind of wanted to jump around to different topics just to feel him out, see where he stood on some things, and also I think he just wanted to argue. So it didn't matter what I said. He just wanted to argue. And because Freddie was agreeing with him when he was arguing with me. And then as soon as they started talking, they started arguing. So, and then he was arguing with everybody. So I think he just wanted to argue. He said he was farming me for content. And I was like, you're farming me for content. You're my content right now. You came to my show and got on my show. So you're my content right now. It's not the other way around. I don't know who you are. Nobody knows who you are. He told me about his channel. I still can't find it. I still never found it. And I told him, I said, shout your channel out at the end. I did respect that he, when I said I was done and I don't want to talk to him anymore, he just left. Like, I didn't have to ban him. I didn't have to kick him out. I said, hey, man, we've been talking for a while. It was fun, but I want to move on. And he said, okay, see ya. And he left. So I respected that. And I told him to shout his channel out. I can't find him on Twitch. I can't find him on YouTube. So I don't know if he was given a fake name. Maybe he has a big channel or something, and he gave us a fake name. But if he gave real information, I couldn't find it anywhere. But I just wanted to show that study to show that I do know what I'm talking about. I just don't always remember all the numbers and the details, because all I do is listen to debates and research things and read stuff all day. While I'm working, I'm listening to political content, debate content, theology and philosophy from all sides, from everybody. When I'm not working, I'm listening to it. When I'm watching a movie, I'm reading stuff. So it's a lot of information and I can't retain all of it. But usually when I make a point, I know what I'm talking about. I have to brush up on it beforehand to really be on point to like win a debate, quote unquote. You can't really win it. If he puts that up on his channel, his retard followers are all going to say he won. If I put it up on my channel, my people are going to say he's an idiot and I won. That's how it goes with internet debates. It's not like a real debate where you have a judges table and you have people judging and scoring based on how many arguments you made, how many proper rebuttals there were, how many fallacies were made, et cetera, et cetera. If I'm in an official debate, then I'm going to come in ready and prepared. I'm going to come in with my sources. I'm going to come in with my facts. I'm going to come in with my rebuttals. But if I'm just talking to somebody chilling, then if he had even a moderately active channel, his minions would be here now. Yeah, they'd be saying something in chat. He said he's been on Twitch for months and he has like 100 followers or something, which it's easy to grow on Twitch. I played Mario on Twitch for a month and I had 250 followers. So like Twitch, you grow a lot faster. The problem is Twitch is very, very sensitive, and I'm too loose with my lips sometimes. And so I would be playing a game, and on my Twitch channel, I'm not talking about religion and politics and stuff, but because I want kids to be able to go watch me play video games and stuff. But when you stream for 6 hours and you're talking to the chat and you're playing a video game, I kept always slipping up and I would say something and I'd be like, oh, I can't say that on Twitch. So then I was kind of like, I don't really want to stream on Twitch because it's too hard to stay, And it's not like I'm saying anything evil. I'm just saying base stuff that you're not allowed to say. But I would slip up and say something I shouldn't say on Twitch. But yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I just wanted to address that I wasn't lying. I wasn't just pulling stuff out of my butt. I've read this stuff before. I know this stuff. But I wasn't going to play the source game and have a Google party and start Googling and bringing all my stuff up on the screen, except when he talked about the Bible, because that's my arena. If you're going to come in lying about the Bible, then I'm going to pull it up and I'm going to show you, no, that's not what it means. Because I think that's more important. It's common sense that two gay people adopting a kid, the kid is going to be more likely to be gay. I don't need to bring up a PubMed study to say that. That's common sense. Duh. And I said to him, don't you think that if two parents are Christian, and they're raising the kid and taking them to church every week and things like that, that it's going to be more likely that the kid's going to believe into that? And I said, wouldn't you consider that indoctrination? Just like if the two parents were gay and they're going to drag shows and doing all this gay stuff and around the house, it's more likely the kid's going to be gay. Like, he's like, no, that's grooming. Well, it's kind of the same thing, Basically, the problem isn't, and I always say the problem is not indoctrination, it's the doctrine. I don't have a problem with kids being indoctrinated into Christianity. I don't have a problem with kids being indoctrinated into good family values and mom and dad raising the kids right and the kids raising their kids right because they were indoctrinated into good traditional morals and family values. I don't have a problem with that indoctrination. That's great. My problem is the doctrine. If your doctrine is gay, then your kids are going to be gay. And I don't need a study to that's just truth. It's a fact and it's true. Both at the same time. Anyway, enough of that. If you guys didn't see that, you should go back and watch the first 2 hours of the stream that I did on Saturday. It's here on Rumble. You can go watch it. It's the UFC fight stream from this past Saturday. But all right, guys, it's time. It's that time. We're going to watch some videos. We're going to hang out. And we're going to talk about some real life spooky stories. Oh, it's spooky story time. Where's my sound effects? Spooky story time. Oh, it's spooky story time. Oh, what do we got? Is the music real low? Let's leave the music on. Just have it real quiet. Is it spooky time? It's spooky time. Let's start out with the Hinterkaifeck murders. Germany's oldest unsolved massacre. A chilling tale of a murderer who carried on living in the family home of the dead. Widowed Victoria Gabriel, 35, lived with her 2 young children, Gazilia and Josef. Her parents, Andreas and Kazila Gruber, and their maid, Maria Baumgartner, in Germany. They kept very much to themselves in a lonely Bavarian homestead on the outskirts of town near the woods. Little did they know the farmhouse would be demolished, as neighbors could not bear the ghoulish reminder of what happened there. The neighbors, let's show you the pictures. Here's a picture of the family. The neighbors had become concerned when young Kazilia missed school for several days. The entire family missed church, and their posts piled up at the post office uncollected. A search party discovered the bodies of the maid and 2-year-old boys slaughtered in their beds. The rest of the family's bodies were found in the barn. They were stacked up one on top of the other in the barn covered with hay. And there's a picture. There's the picture. Oh, snap. The injuries were brutal. Smashed skulls, strangulation, shattered jaws, and gaping wounds. All caused by a mattock, which is a pickaxe. The 7-year-old girl was found with clumps of her hair in her hands, torn out in shock and distress. She survived for several hours after the deaths of the other members of the family. Oh, it's not going to let me read the whole thing. Now, let's go to a video that I hope will address everything. Because there's creepy. It sounds like just some crazy serial killer went in the house and killed him, right? But oh no, there's much more. For days beforehand, the maids were hearing weird sounds in the walls. They were hearing noises in the walls. There was a newspaper left on the table one morning. While they were all out of the house, they came back in the house and there was a newspaper sitting on the table. And this is before any of the murders happened. So for weeks before the murders happened, they're hearing noises and sounds in the walls. They're hearing sounds like footsteps up in the attic. And then they come home and there's a newspaper sitting on the table. But the crazy part is the newspaper was not a newspaper that anybody in the house was subscribed to. Nobody, the house did not get this paper in the mail. The dad, the mom, the maids, nobody was subscribed to this newspaper. Nobody read this newspaper. And this newspaper was sitting on the kitchen table one day. Then it gets real creepy when one day they look out the door and it's snowing outside and there's footsteps leading from the edge of the woods to the back door of the house. Footsteps leading towards from the woods to the house. But there's no footsteps leading out. And this is where the idea, later they found out that the house had hidden passages within the walls. A lot of these old German houses would have like passageways and stuff in the walls. There were passageways in the walls. So the idea is that this person came from the woods into the house and then was living in the house amongst the family unnoticed for weeks. And then the story goes that one day, one of the kids hears whispering coming from the shed. So the kid wanders into the shed where he takes a tool, a pitchfork that he found in the shed, and he kills one of the kids and hides him under the hay. Then a little while later, the next kid or the next family member is looking for the other one and hears the whispering coming from the shed. So they go out to the shed, get killed, put in the hay. When there's 2 left, the killer apparently goes to the house and kills the remaining 2 in the house. But it gets crazier. They don't notice that the people are missing till like weeks later. For weeks, the neighbor sees that the lights are on at night in the house, that the smoke is burning from the fireplace. And the neighbor thinks everything's going fine. The animals are being fed. It's a farm. All the animals are being fed. All the animals are fine. There's smoke burning from the fireplace. The lights are on in the house. Everything's good over there. The person for weeks afterwards was living in the house while the dead people were in the house. So the spooky part is that people think that this is still unsolved to this day. They actually reopened this case fairly recently. They've still never solved it. They thought maybe it was the neighbor, but no, it wasn't the neighbor. There's reasons why it couldn't have been the neighbor. Maybe it was a nomad or like a homeless person that was walking around. Maybe it was a person that lived there before that knew the house and knew about the secret passages, and that's how they went unnoticed for a while. Or was it a ghost? Was it a creature from the depths? Was it a dark, mystical being? What could it have been? Nobody knows to this day. Let's watch the spooky video.
In the midst of rural Germany, a small
creepy voice.
The name of Hinterkaifeck would soon become the
They're gonna explain everything. Yo, what up, guys? Thank you for watching this video. This has been a replay of the Dreaded Conservative show from over on Rumble, Monday nights, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. Full show on Rumble if you want to see it uncut in its entirety. A lot of it was taken off the end of this one because we were playing some copyright stuff, hanging out, watching videos over on Rumble. If you want to see the full thing, you got to go to rumble.com/user/thedreadedconservative, and you can check us out live. We will be back live on YouTube eventually, but for now, hang out at the Rumble, hit the like button, share this to a friend, all the good stuff. Watch the video, watch the playlist. I'll catch you guys next week. I'm out. Peace.